Now, I think we can all agree that an avoidant attachment style is very stoic. They're very good the vast majority of time at not really showcasing their feelings. But you might be surprised to come to learn that avoidants still have feelings, and often a lot of them. And have you ever wondered what kind of feelings, specifically fears, linger behind the avoidant attachment style's calm exterior? Well, this video today is going to help you unpack the deepest fears that an avoidant attachment style faces in a relationship. And there's an important reason that we're going to cover this. And it's that these are the actual things that will cause an avoidant to shut down, to stonewall, to pull away, or even to lose attraction seemingly out of the blue, just lose interest in a relationship. And a reason for this is that because avoidant attachment styles don't know how to be vulnerable, they often feel like when these fears are triggered, they are unsolvable problems. And when they come to associate the relationship as being a trigger for their fears more than anything else, they will often lose interest or pull away because those very fears will often cover up their feelings. So, we're going to talk about the biggest fears the avoidant has, where they come from, and at the end of this video, we'll talk about what you can specifically do if you're seeing these things arise in your relationship dynamic. So, first and foremost, one of the biggest fears an avoidant actually has, and we're going to cover six major ones. One of the biggest fears they have is this fear that somebody will see them as shameful or defective. Now, from a conscious mind perspective, when we evaluate it logically, even when the avoidant themselves evaluates it logically, they may come to look at this as something that is unfounded. There's no reason. They're not doing anything so shameful that, people are going to see or find out. But childhood emotional neglect, which is something that all avoidant attachment styles go through in various forms, causes somebody to internalize that they aren't getting their needs met from their parents or caregivers, and they don't understand why. And because a child's mind can't conceive of the parent being emotionally unavailable, right? The child isn't going to sit there at a young age and be like, oh, my parents are emotionally unavailable. So instead, they make it mean something must be shameful or defective about me that I can't get this basic need met that I'm longing for, which is connection. So, as a means of coping with this, they suppress and minimize their attachment needs to others, which initially brings them some degree of relief, but it also causes them to feel this sense of internalized shame. And so, while you may not see it, dismissive avoidants often are so sensitive to criticism in relationships, which causes them to really pull away and shut down and even want to sabotage relationships if they feel like they're being criticized too often because they don't receive criticism like somebody else does. They don't receive criticism like, "Oh, your behavior was not good. Here's how you can improve." They receive that as even if you're saying it in a pretty kind way, they take it to heart. They receive it as like, "Oh, something is wrong with me. You're telling me something with me is wrong, not my behavior, not this thing that I did. This isn't like a feedback session. You're telling me I am wrong at my core." And this is because we all interpret what's happening in our outside world through the lens of our own conditioning, through our own conditioned fears and patterns. And this is such a big one for the avoidant attachment style. Number two, I am weak. Huge fear of seeming weak. And unfortunately, the avoidant has come to think that expressing emotions is weak. I think we can all agree from a conscious mind perspective when we take our own fears out of it. If you have similar fears in any way, I think we can all agree that it's actually courageous in today's world to express emotion. It's hard to be vulnerable. It takes tremendous strength and courage to open up. But we're not looking at this from a conscious mind perspective. Nobody's consciously saying, I'm going to tell myself I'm defective and weak if I, bond with somebody or if I'm a human being and I have emotions. Instead, these are unfortunate subconscious patterns that got conditioned into somebody from childhood. Number three, huge fear. I will be emotionally unsafe. Dismissive avoidants do not like ups and downs too much, although they can tolerate it in the earlier stages of a relationship. They don't like to be on a roller coaster long term. And they don't like a lot of chaos, a lot of conflict. They take that as a particular threat emotionally. And they end up feeling like, okay, if somebody doesn't feel safe and harmonious and comfortable to be around, I'm not looking for it. Because actually, dismissive avoidants really care about in their partnerships having relationship dynamics that are harmonious, that are comforting, and that provide a sense of stability, security, and support. Number 4, I'm sure you would have guessed this one. It is the I am trapped fear. This is a huge core wound because when somebody grows up in a childhood with emotional neglect, they often feel also like they're trapped in a situation where they can't get their needs met. And it's part of why they have this fear of being engulfed as an adult. They're scared of reliving those feelings in childhood, essentially. And so these are huge feelings that will cause an avoidant to push away, to pull away, and again, seemingly lose feelings because the fears can be so strong that they cover up the feelings. I'm going to tell you 2 more, and then we're going to talk about what to do. But I want to let you know if you are somebody who struggles with these fears yourself, or you're a different attachment style who also has big fears in relationships and you know it. We have a course that will help you recondition. It's all about how to recondition these fears. You're not born with them, they get conditioned into you through repetition and emotion over time. It's part of what fires and wires these neural pathways. And you can recondition them, leveraging principles of neuroplasticity and understanding how the subconscious mind works. And this course you can check out fully for free just for a limited time. It's called the Emotional Mastery and Belief Reprogramming course, and I'll put a link below. Next fear. I am not good enough. And sometimes this sounds like I am incapable. A lot of dismissive avoidants don't feel like they know how to do things right in relationships. They often feel like, I don't know what people are expecting of me. I don't know if I'm cut out for giving somebody what they need. And part of this is because they didn't have modeling to see these things growing up. So, of course, it feels confusing and overwhelming. So, this fear can cause them to feel shut down, to feel like they're not capable of doing relationships, not capable of growing. And they'll often just feel like they want to pull away when something makes them feel this way because that's how they cope when they feel sad or overwhelmed or upset is to go inward, kind of like a turtle going into their shell for self protection. And so this will cause them again to lean into themselves and pull away from a relationship. And last but not least, one of the other big fears we'll see coming out of a dismissive avoidant is I am misunderstood. They will often in relationship dynamics feel very misunderstood. And this is actually, believe it or not, because they misunderstand themselves. And as long as somebody is in a situation where they can't understand their own feelings and needs, it's going to cause them to feel very sensitive to being misunderstood by others. If you're interested in helping make a huge impact on other people's lives while also building financial freedom, I'm offering an early bird 50% discount on our integrated attachment theory relationship certification program that will help you become a certified integrated attachment theory relationship coach and build your own thriving practice by the end of 12 weeks. This 12-week on-demand program will help you kickstart your new career by teaching you revolutionary tools and strategies that help clients transform their lives and relationships. Build your own coaching practice and set yourself up for a waitlist of clients and financial success. Even if you have no coaching experience, this program will give you very in-depth tools, resources, and confidence to get started in a matter of weeks. And you can learn more information by clicking the link down below. So, what do you do about these things? Well, we're going to talk about a few things that you can start with here today. Number 1 is something called positive framing. It's a really great strategy in communication, especially with an avoidant. What I don't want for you and what I don't want you to take away from this video is like, oh, I should walk on eggshells all the time. I should, be perfect so that I don't trigger any fears. No, you're going to be a human being, whether you are the dismissive avoidant listening to this and you have another avoidant in your life, or whether you are any other attachment style, you're going to be a human being with your own needs from this person, right? If you're getting into a relationship dynamic, this person's not going to meet every need all the time because that would be codependent. But from an interdependent point of view, we want to have a relationship to self and be able to lean on people and have a relationship to them too. And so this reciprocal exchange of needs is healthy in secure relationships. And so the goal here is not for you to um self-silence and diminish all of your needs. The goal here for you is to be able to actually Share your needs, but just do it in a delivery that's going to land well with the avoidant. And so these can be things like if you have a need, instead of saying something retroactively when you're triggered, instead of saying, you never spend enough time with me or you don't text back enough or things like that, say, hey, I would love for us to do something fun together this weekend. Why don't we plan something for Saturday? Or I would love for us to spend a little more time together in a relationship. Why don't we plan a cool thing to do on Sunday? If you can just share in the positive of what you want and make it the delivery like something you're looking forward to, something that's positive, something you have optimism around, instead of saying what's not happening and what you're upset about, then that goes a really long way. And it will force you to have to communicate your needs proactively. Now, of course, if things are not working that way, you can have a sit down conversation and say, hey, I'm feeling a little disconnected in the relationship. I want us to spend more time together. Can we make an effort to do that? And let's do that on Friday or Saturday or whatever you want to plan. But the more you can frame it in that way, it's gentle. It's not going to feel like criticism or, something that they're not doing right and they're not capable. It's not going to make them feel trapped. And another thing you can add in here so that they feel like they're not trapped and they feel like they're a part of this conversation is to let them know, what do you think about this? Right? Or how do you feel about that? Or what are your thoughts? So that it's a two-way conversation, not like, here's my need, you better go meet it. But hey, here's my need. It's positively framed. What are your thoughts? And it leaves room for negotiation. It leaves room for two parties to hash things out and get to a middle ground together and compromise as necessary. And so those are two things you can start with today. There's many other tips and tools. You can stay tuned for future videos for that, but those are two easy things. I don't want to put like tons and tons of stuff into just one video and it be overwhelming. So start there and follow back for other things that you can do to improve your ability to navigate the fears of the avoidant in relationships. Thank you for watching. Again, if you want to check out that course fully for free for a limited time, it's down below. Also, if you are enjoying this channel, please subscribe. Please like, share with other people if you think it might be helpful for them. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video.